Confronting my wife about her hidden life, the truth will shock you. I never imagined I would write a post like this. In fact, a few years ago, if you had asked me about my life, I would have probably said that everything was finally falling into place. You know those phases when you feel like everything is aligning perfectly? That's how I felt when I met my wife. At the time, we were young, full of energy, and I had the impression that nothing could shake the foundation we were building. I met my wife, Anna, through a mutual friend at a small get-together. There was an instant connection. Her laugh was infectious, and her charm was magnetic. We clicked immediately, sharing stories and dreams late into the night. I remember thinking that this was the kind of relationship I had always hoped to find. We spent our days exploring the city, enjoying cozy movie nights, and dreaming about our future together. Everything seemed perfect. As our relationship blossomed, I was captivated by her spontaneity and zest for life. She brought out a side of me I didn't know existed. I felt alive. I thought we were building something deep and lasting, filled with mutual respect and understanding. There was a sense of security in our connection, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I had found my partner for life. However, as time went on, I began to notice subtle changes in her behavior. It started with small things. She became more secretive with her phone, often texting late into the night or disappearing for hours with vague excuses about work or friends. I wanted to trust her, so I tried to dismiss my concerns, convincing myself that she was just busy and that I was being paranoid. After all, we were in love, right? But my instincts started to nag at me. One evening, while she was in the shower, I felt an overwhelming urge to check her phone. Normally, I respected her privacy, but something felt off. Her phone lit up with a series of notifications, and without thinking, I grabbed it. What I found shattered my world. The messages were explicit and degrading, filled with references that made my stomach turn. College boys were messaging her, calling her names that felt foreign to the woman I loved. It wasn't just flirtation, it was clear that she was engaging in something much darker and more humiliating. In that moment, I felt my heart sink. The breath left my lungs, and I could hardly comprehend what I was reading. My emotions ranged from confusion to rage, but mostly, I felt an overwhelming sense of betrayal. This wasn't just an affair, it felt like I had discovered a hidden identity, a side of her I had never known existed. I was paralyzed by the realization that the woman I loved was living a double life, and I had been completely oblivious. The confrontation was inevitable. I knew I couldn't keep this bottled up inside. When Anna came out of the shower, her hair wet and her face glowing, I felt a mix of anger and sadness. I wanted to believe that I could confront her with dignity, but my voice trembled as I uttered the words, "I saw the messages." The color drained from her face, and for a moment, silence hung heavy in the air. I watched her process the shock, her expression shifting from surprise to resignation. Instead of denial, she sat down and began to explain, her voice surprisingly calm. She told me that this had been going on long before we met, that it started as a way for her to feel wanted, to regain a sense of confidence she thought she had lost. As she spoke, my heart ached. She didn't seem to grasp the gravity of her actions. It was as if she had compartmentalized her behavior, separating her actions from the love we had built. I could feel the anger bubbling inside me, but I also felt a deep sadness. The woman I thought I knew was gone, replaced by someone who felt like a stranger. I was left grappling with emotions I didn't know how to express: shock, betrayal, and confusion. I wanted to scream, to cry, to make her understand how deeply she had hurt me. Instead, I found myself sitting there, numbly absorbing her words, wondering how we had ended up here. As the days passed after our confrontation, I couldn't help but reflect on our relationship. There were red flags I had overlooked, moments I had brushed aside in the name of love and trust. The late nights, the mysterious texts, the increasing distance between us, they all painted a clearer picture in hindsight. I remembered a weekend when she had canceled plans at the last minute, claiming she was too tired. At the time, I thought nothing of it, but now I wondered if she had been with someone else. I recalled times when she seemed emotionally unavailable, lost in her thoughts while I was trying to connect with her. I had chalked it up to stress or work, never considering the possibility that something more sinister was at play. I began to question the very foundation of our relationship. What did it mean for us? Had I been just another part of her life while she juggled her secret desires? My heart ached with the realization that I had invested my love and trust in someone who was living a lie. It was a bitter pill to swallow, and the more I thought about it, the more I felt like a fool for not seeing the truth sooner. After the confrontation, we tried to salvage our relationship. We sought therapy together, hoping to unravel the complexities of what had transpired. However, each session became a painful reminder of the betrayal. Anna spoke about her insecurities, her need for validation, and her struggle to find herself in a world that felt increasingly demanding. But it became clear to me that her issues ran deeper than I could fix. The therapy sessions opened my eyes to the harsh reality that love alone couldn't heal the wounds she had created. I realized I was trying to help her piece together a life she had shattered, but I was neglecting my own emotional health in the process. I began to understand that I had to prioritize my well-being, even if that meant walking away from someone I had once loved deeply. Eventually, we made the decision to separate. It felt like ripping off a Band-Aid, a painful but necessary step toward healing. I started to focus on my personal growth, diving into books about self-worth and resilience. I sought support from friends and family, leaning on their strength during this challenging time. I learned to rediscover who I was outside of our relationship, something I hadn't done in years. This painful experience forced me to confront my beliefs about trust, love, and vulnerability. I learned that it's essential to maintain a sense of self, even in a relationship. I began to understand the importance of boundaries and recognizing when something feels off. It was a transformative journey, albeit one filled with heartache. Now, as I reflect on my journey, I feel a sense of peace that I didn't think was possible. While the scars of betrayal remain, I've learned to carry them as reminders of my resilience. I've rebuilt my life, focusing on my passions and reconnecting with friends I had neglected during my relationship. For anyone going through something similar, I urge you to trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, don't dismiss it. Confront the truth, even when it's painful. It may hurt in the short term, but facing reality is the first step toward healing. Remember that your worth is not defined by someone else's actions. You deserve love, respect, and honesty. In the end, I emerged stronger, more self-aware, and ready to embrace the next chapter of my life. I may have lost a part of my heart, but I gained invaluable lessons about love, trust, and the importance of valuing oneself. Life goes on, and I am determined to make the most of it. Enjoyed the story? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss new content. Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think and what you'd like to see next. And if you want to keep watching more videos like this one, just click on the next video. See you there.